Hey folks, welcome back to Dragons and Dice. Today we're going to be going over character creation concepts, and with me to help with this is my wife, Emmy.
Hello.
Welcome to Dragons and Dice. Okay, for this episode, I thought it'd be fun to go over how I go about my character creation concepts and give you all a template that you all can use when you're stuck with making a character you want to use for a one-shot or for a long-term campaign. And so we'll get kicked off with a template, and then we'll each make a couple of characters so that you can see how it works in action. So the template I like to use for this is, first off, I want to know what the main thing that this character is. One of the characters I'm going to be building, he's a chef, and that's going to be the main driving force of his thing. After that, you'll obviously pick your class and your species, and your background will come right in with this also, especially using the new ones that are in the 2024 Player's Handbook. And we'll go over those when we pick them out for our individual characters. Each of your characters is going to need to have some sort of flaw. You're going to need to have a general outlook on how they go about their lives and what they do, and then something that's special about them that makes them a little bit different from the other people that are cooks or merchants or whatnot. And then as we level up, we like to use spells and things that are on flavor, and then we'll go over how those characters work in combat using the abilities that we put to them. Okay, Em, what characters have you prepared for today?
Okay, so I have a Tabaxi Death Cleric. Her name is Una. And then a ASMR Valor Bard, and his name is Balazar.
Sounds cool. They both sound like they're going to be fun.
Yeah. What about you?
I'm going to have an Alchemist Artificer named Pesto, and then my other one is going to be a Moon Druid named Saloon.
I love it.
Awesome. You want me to go first, or you want to go first?
Go ahead.
Okay, I'll start with Pesto, and this is a character I actually played in a one-shot, and I wanted to build a chef, and so everything I did was based around food. So like I said, he's going to be a deep gnome, and I made a custom background so he could be an urchin cook, so he has the urchin background with a little bit of caveats added into it, and with that he got a pet mouse, which was one of the features I wanted for him. He has a little friend. And being a gnome, he's been bullied his whole life, and they were real mean to him in the Underdark. And so he has a real chip on his shoulder for bullies.
Don't we all?
Don't we all? Yeah. It's he does not like people picking on him or his little mouse, who I named Tooch. And from there, I just went through Artificer level ups. This was a level 6 one-shot, and so I took spells that had to do with food. He's got Purify Food and Drink. He's got the Grease spell. He's got Tasha's Caustic Brew. He's got acid arrows, and the way I did all his acid spells during the one shot was that he would throw balsamic vinegar bottles or squeeze lemon in people's eyes, so it was acid spells. That's just kind of the idea I had for that character, was to make everything oriented around that.
So the Pesto character is an extremely fleshed out character, and everything is to the chef flavor. You don't always have to do it that way, right?
No, you can add in whatever flavor you want, and you can go as extreme or as little. This is one, he was suboptimal. He was not that good in combat, but I just wanted someone, at level 4, he took the chef feat, so he could give out little morsels of food for temp HP. Everything on it was just trying to be on flavor point. Not on...
Pun intended.
Pun intended.
All the puns.
Yeah. Not so much on, being super efficient in battle, although he did fine in it. I mean, Artificers are fun classes to play. They got a lot of utility.
So the two characters I created aren't quite as complex. Their backgrounds are a little more kind of cut and dry.
Yeah, that's great. That's one of the real joys of D&D is you can do as much or as little as you want, and when you get to play, it's always a good time.
Yeah, and then just make it up on the fly.
Yeah,
that's what I always do.
That's the majority of the game. I guess that's why they call it role-playing. Any other questions about Pesto?
What is a deep gnome? What is the difference between just a regular gnome and a deep gnome? Does he just have a deep voice?
No, I actually gave him an Australian voice for the one shot.
Oh, that's right, I remember.
Because he was from the land down Underdark. Deep gnomes are from the Underdark, and then there's hill gnomes that are more on the material plane of things, and so...
Heel or... Hill?
Hill, yeah, small mountain hill.
Oh, they live on a hill, I see.
It's the bottom of your foot.
The opposite of underhill, I get you.
Yeah. And so that's why Pesto was from the Underdark, because the Druagar down there had been mean to him. They were the people who bullied him.
Gotcha.
So that was my chef character. Which one do you want to go over yours first, Emmy? Do you want to do Una or Balazar first?
I'll do Una. She's the one that I created for the one shot. So this character's name is Una, and she is a Tabaxi Death Cleric, which I had to kind of finagle a little bit with you, the Death Cleric part, because apparently that's not canon.
Yeah, they're normally an evil class, but you flavored it really well to make it into a good character. You want to go over that a bit?
She turned out really well, I thought. So the reason I named her Una is because she is a snow leopard Tabaxi, which you may or may not know, snow leopards are super endangered, and so she is the last of her kind. And so she's a death cleric and can reanimate the bones of her dead ancestors.
Yeah, it was really neat. So she goes around and collects the skeletons of her lost ancestors and carries them with her, and that's because she's a necromancer type character, but more on the neutral side than evil, right?
Yeah, for sure. She's not evil.
Yeah, and so you got to use your basically dead ancestors. She carried them around with you and then summoned them for the fight.
Yeah, and I think, weren't they archers, it seemed? Yeah. It worked really great. She's a fun character to play.
Yeah, and you got a couple of undead tweaks with it for the piece of armor you had, let you animate extra undead, and it was all stuff that was really on point with your necromancer feel.
Yeah.
And I thought it was one of the really interesting characters, because most of the time necromancers in D&D kind of got an evil feel to it, and this was a really ingenious way of making a neutral necromancer that's not really concerned with raising undead legions to overtake the world. It was someone who was doing it as almost like a ritual of respect for their ancestors.
That's how I wanted it to be. I wanted her to be kind of beholden to her ancestors and trying to do right by them and kind of honor them, if that's a thing.
Anything's a thing if you make it a thing.
That's true.
So what was a day in the life of Una like? How did she do in combat, and how'd your day go for her?
So she just got the one day, since I only played her for the one shot. And so I animated my little 4 skeleton people, and then you choose between melee and archery, and I chose archery.
Always a good choice.
Yeah, I'm always a fan of that. And then this character has to pick her spells from a huge amount of spells.
Yeah, cleric's full caster and prepared list. You get.
Yeah, I wasn't used to that, so I just grabbed a few and wasn't sure what they were going to do. But anyway, I ended up using Chill Touch every turn because it hit the hardest, and it has necrotic damage, which can't be resisted. So.
Yeah, death clerics at level 6 get that ability where none of your necromancy spells can be resisted, and your cantrips hit 2 people if they're beside each other. So
that worked out well.
Yeah, you got to double down on some damage.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a really fun character. I like the design.
Yeah, I liked it.
Now it's time for the homebrew item of the week. Good day, mates. Today's homebrewed item will be Pesto Pizzazz Mushroom Hat. And this is a little hat I keep on my head. Save my best man Tooch. He's a little pet rat I keep with me. And the way this hat works is when I put it on my noggin, it can't come off. Whether a bloke hits me real hard in the face or Sheila gives me a kiss on the cheek, neither one will take the hat off. The good flavor on this hat was that anything that was underneath it was completely safe, and I had a little trick up my sleeve. If the DM didn't know about it, I was going to drop it on the ground and then cast Enlarge and Reduce on it, and then I would have me a tiny little hut just for a little bitty level 2 spell. So, as they say, good day, mate. So this is an item that you can add into games, or an idea or a concept of an item to add into games where it does nothing mechanically. It is just for flavor, but those items are great too, and I think if you're DMing, that's something you should let your players do in their games. It just adds good flavor and fun to them.
Okay, so what's your next character?
For this one, I thought I would do a female druid, and the flavor of this, she's going to be a wood elf. Her name's going to be Saloon, and the flavor for this is that she is actually a werewolf. and she uses her wild shapes as a kind of cover for hiding the fact that she's a werewolf.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, so I'm gonna do like a Disney movie / Blade ripoff here. Her mom was killed by a loup-garou, which is a massive werewolf. She was born right after her mom died, and she has like a unique strain of lycanthropy, and it doesn't do anything mechanically except that, occasionally she transforms, but it can't be fixed with remove curse. So that's kind of why she has had to go out and live alone in the wild, and so I took the hermit background for that.
So if she transforms, she's not dangerous, or she is?
Oh, no, she is, but the flavor on this was that she's dangerous when she turns into a werewolf. So she tries to stay out away from society. And so she kind of lives out by herself in the woods, which is, how she became a druid. Very, go right hand in hand.
Lone wolf style.
Haha. It's funny you say that because, like, the way she works is I have her, she only changes into feline characters. That way, nobody associates her with wolves because every time she wild shapes...
The same but different, yes.
Yeah, so she wild shapes, but she only goes into cats. So, like, she's going to be a moon druid, so starting off at level 3, she'll be, like, change into a tiger, and then by level 6, she'll turn into, like, a saber-toothed tiger, but never into a wolf because she doesn't want to be associated with wolves.
Good thinking.
Yeah, and so she uses it kind of like a little bit of a cover-up. And then... for this character, she has a homebrewed item. It's her mother's amulet, and this kind of has like a moonbeam spell ability on it because moonbeam can revert stuff that's transformed into its normal shape. And so she can sleep under the light of this amulet, but it only works outside and only when there's, a moon. And so she has to like work around that, and like it would be really fun hook for the DM to use because if you're in a town or if you're in a cavern, now she can transform and then she would run amok, and then...
That's cool.
I thought it was fun. It's an interesting little concept for a character. I like the idea of a druid using their wild shapes for, kind of like sneaky.
Yeah.
And one of the ways I flavored her was I probably gave her some charisma when I did stats. So I would go wisdom first, then dex, and then her third best stat would be charisma. And that way she could like have a bit of persuasion and deceit to keep her secret.
That's smart. She definitely need that.
Yeah.
People sniffing around.
And then if you want to go like full like flavor with it the whole time and don't care about being as optimal in combat, my thought was if I ever got to play this character is that in combat, if she was in human form, she'd be very like support magic and stay in the back and be kind of almost pacifistic. But then if she wild shape, it would kind of like dial up her like primal side, and she would go like crazy melee monster and be like in the thick of it trying to tear stuff up.
So like the best of both worlds, kind of.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I thought it was a fun character concept of adding some lycanthropy in, which is always fun. Gives the DM a nice hook to play around with, and could be a surprise. You don't even have to tell the party that she has this.
Yeah, that's true.
It's always nice when you make characters if you give your DM something to work with too, because then they get to kind of expand the game to accommodate everyone.
Yep. Secrets.
Secrets. Any other questions about Saloon?
No, I don't think so.
Alrighty. Okay, Emmy, what's the second character? Tell me about Balazar. What's he about?
Okay, so he's an ASMR Valor Bard. So he's 7 feet tall and has like an opalescent green skin. So he's supposed to look like he like dropped out of heaven, basically. So it's like...
Got that pretty celestial look.
Yeah, but he also... I wanted him to be kind of like... to have a fallen angel sort of look. So he has like dark features, like dark hair, dark eyes, dark lips. He's very handsome, but he's also kind of like slightly terrifying.
Hit you with a smolder.
Yeah, but kind of like he uses it to his advantage all the time. So he's constantly conning people.
Oh, so he's a con man?
A bit, yeah.
Oh, that's cool. So how is he conning people? What's he doing that lets him con people?
So he's a merchant. His background is he's a merchant, and so he sells jewelry and stuff. So he's basically conning people into thinking that like this jewelry that they buy from him will give them abilities when it won't give them anything.
Oh, so he's swindling them a little bit. He's using his magic to like press digitate it and all clean and that's cool. Where's he from? How do you get to where he's at?
So he's from the Underdark, but the reason he was there is because him and his twin brother were kidnapped from the celestial realm where the ASMRs are from, and they took them down there and basically used them as like slave labor. So he's swindling and conning people to try to get enough money to go back to the dark or the Underdark to rescue the brother.
Oh, that's cool. So he's kind of like, he's low-key evil, but he also still kind of is trying to help his family out and stuff. So he's like kind of like a chaotic neutral character. Is that how you set him up?
I would say desperation is what drives him.
Oh, that's cool. That's be a fun character to play in game.
Yeah.
So I love the idea if he's like all desperate and working for things. If you were in a long campaign, how would you tie that in a way that like would let him be a viable member of a party? How would you get him in the group?
Well, I think you could play on his need for family and like community, so they could, be like, hey, aren't you sick of being alone? And he'd be like, no, not at all, I love it. But underneath he really is, because he misses his brother and everybody. But he would also need a hook, as in like, you guys are going to take me there to help me get this guy free, right? Because otherwise, he's not just going to give up his little lifelong quest to do the other quests, but he just wants to,
so
get there in the end.
I'll go with you all because one, I really want to, but two, it's kind of a means to my own ends. So that's awesome. I like that. It's good flavor for characters. I think one of the most important parts about, especially if you're doing a long campaign, make a character that's fun to play and got some personality. I think.
Yeah. Why would you not?
Yeah, I mean, some people just want to smack stuff hard, but I think that's great for one shots. But if you get to role play for long campaigns, make somebody you like playing. Make someone that you think is fun.
Yeah.
So, anything else about Balasar?
I didn't actually do a homebrew item for him. I would like to. Do you have any suggestions? I kind of was thinking like he would have some fancy jewelry, but I didn't want to steal your idea.
Oh, well, heck, jewelry is one of the easy ones to do, and that's the joy of it. Everybody in the game can wear it. So let's see, some sort of homebrew item for Balazar. Put me on the spot here.
What about like a crown or something like that?
Oh, that'd be neat. Like on his way out of the Underdark, he stole something from there.
Yeah, he would like that. He's magpie-ish.
Yeah, just something that kind of keeps him motivated. We could do like a crown. It might give him like the ability to have advantage on persuasion checks once a day, or proficiency bonus a day, or something little like that.
Yeah.
It was like a small use item.
So if you're making your own homebrew items, do you make them only advantageous, or do you put like curses on them or something like that?
Oh, I do the whole gambit. All kinds of stuff has curses on it.
Okay, I think it would be more fun if he had some, something that also like made him lose his, appeal for an hour a day or something like that.
I like it. So he gets he can use it to like swindle people here, but it also will have like a downside of like he has disadvantage on his next like whatever checks or something like that. Something that had a little bit of like persuasion mechanic in game and then cost you a little bit something later that
would
day.
Be fun.
Yeah, I think that'd be very fitting coming from the Underdark too. A lot of dirty stuff down there. So
for sure.
Cool. I like the characters. It's fun. I always like designing characters.
Yeah, I do too.
So there are 4 characters that we've prepared, and a good start for like how we go about conceptually. Is there anything else you want to add?
Do you want to do just like a spontaneous character creation?
Oh, like you randomly walk into a game store and they've got a D&D game going. Yeah, sure. Shoot, give me a campaign setting and I'll make up a character backstory on the fly.
Okay. How about it's like a Lost City of Atlantis kind of situation where you're underwater the whole time?
Oh wow, that's a brutal one shot for somebody to run out in a game store. Water's
I'm
hard.
Not doing it.
Yeah, water's hard. Okay. So first off, I'll go class because they just came out with a new Circle of the Seas druid that's all water based and controls water, and so I'm probably gonna go and be like a sea elf or a water genasi sea druid and just go full ocean with it. And then for my wild shapes, I would just do like sharks and squids and stuff like that. And
That's fun.
yeah, and then probably do, I don't know, could do an urchin background, like they got ostracized from their group or they lost their school of, sea elves, and they've been kind of having to live in the ocean alone, and they're a little bit of a loner. And then I would probably flavor that as, kind of like your Balasar person. They want some community, and they want to find their group, and then when they find a party, they're like able to latch onto them and be like super useful because they're all water based, and they're in their element.
Like a sea mollusk.
Sea mollusk. That's a mollusk. That's what my dream is, to be a mollusk. So
That's cool. I like that. I didn't know that they had. I thought I was trying to trip you up by saying the underwater city. So you can actually play campaigns underwater?
yeah.
Really?
It's a lot to keep up with because battle becomes 3-dimensional because you can swim
right.
up and down as opposed to just kind of like you're on the ground, which I mean, you can still fly on the material plane, but you can't really burrow that much as a player character. And then there's also breath's a problem. If you don't have enough magic or your race doesn't already allow you to breathe underwater, you have to account for that, and you can only hold your breath for so long.
Yeah, that might get old for an entire campaign. Maybe just like a scene or two.
Yes, that's normally how water stuff goes. You do, a bit here and there,
Gotcha.
and then, there'll be like one water fight, but a whole campaign under there, it's a lot to work around.
You could do it like Phantom Menace, where they're like really annoying people. sorry, everyone.
We thought we was gonna make it the whole podcast
No Jar
without
Jar.
a Jar Jar Binks reference, but
well,
no.
where, you know what I'm saying? Like where they live in that like bubble town or whatever it is. You can do it like that.
do.
Oh dear God. Never do that again.
So, but yeah, that's probably.
Would that work?
Yeah, you could.
Okay, back to my city of Atlantis. In a bubble.
City of Atlantis in a bubble.
Okay.
I'm gonna play a sea elf, Circle of the Seas druid.
Okay. I like it.
Yeah, I think it'd be fun. I'd love to play it.
What is its name? Is it
Aquaticus.
Aquaticus? Perfect.
Well, folks, that's it for this episode of Dragons and Dice. Thanks for listening, and if you like what we're doing here, please like, subscribe, or leave a review. It really helps with exposure of a new show. So until next time, may your D20s roll high, and may your DMs be kind.